All right.
Okay, so
Thank you,
now that you
everybody.
know
Yeah.
that we're recording this, that doesn't mean that you can leave.
Right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the CTR HR Assistant module that we're rolling out, much similar to the Managed Payroll and the Payroll Assistant that we rolled out a few months ago. It's an add-on to that. So we're going to go through a few slides here that we're also going to be sending out to you, talking about the product and who it's for. So today we do have Bridget Escobar, our president, managing partner, going through the slides with us, and myself as well. Some housekeeping items. We do have the audio and video disabled, and this session is being recorded, and we will receive the slides and recording about 24 hours from the time of this webinar. We'll get that out to you.
All right, we'll get started. I'm going to apologize in advance because my kids have given me a cold, which I've been struggling with the past couple days. And of course, they had to give me this just one last time before school ends in only 2 weeks. So very thankful for that. But I've got my water. So if I have a coughing fit, that's why. All right, so we are very excited to tell you more about this new HR assistant service. We're going to go through the agenda first, talking about some industry trends and challenges. And really, these trends and challenges, plus anecdotal evidence and discussions from our clients and prospective clients, is the reason why we have decided to offer this service. So we wanted to cover that with you just so it helped make sense. Second, we're going to go over, obviously, the HR assistant service. We're going to identify what the roles and responsibilities of you and CTR would be with the service. And then Jason's going to cover what our pricing process would look like. So going to start off with some statistics and some studies. So some of you are probably familiar with Gartner, and they did a recent study. This was August of last year. That was it was interesting, but you're probably sitting here going, yeah, this is not news to me. They pulled HR leaders, HR managers, just different people that are sitting in that role. And what they found is that there is tremendous burnout in the HR position, really since COVID. And we kind of thought that this would drop off because some of those, special intricacies that we had to deal with all of a sudden with COVID are no longer there. But that really isn't the case. The role, what they're seeing is the role has expanded a lot. So 55% of HR leaders are getting requests on a wider variety of topics. 45% are finding it more difficult to prioritize and meet the conflicting demands on their time. And 71% reported burnout among staff. And I don't have the chart here from the study, but there was another chart that showed that this is resulting in a lot of turnover in the HR position. They said over half of respondents reported difficult retaining and recruiting HR employees, and they showed that the HR position is one of the higher level turnover positions in organizations recently. So they added an article as a part of this study, and what they talked about, and what you already know, and we know because we work with HR folks every single day, is that HR people are wearing a lot more hats than they used to. So they're interviewers, they're policy directors, HR advisors, they're handling sometimes payroll, sometimes some accounting functions. They're responsible for answering questions on any HR technology that they've implemented. They're responsible for helping with implementing new technology and expanding that technology. So that's more of an HR tech admin role, diversity advisor, and I'm sure that there's about 20 other things that you could add to this list that I did not include here. So another interesting thing, which again, you probably all know, not news to you, is that businesses are continuing to invest in HR technology. And with the goal is always to become more efficient in HR. We need more technology so that people can start doing things for themselves, to take work off of the plate of HR administrators, to streamline tasks, all of those things. And so in this survey, you're seeing that they were asking, where are the areas that HR plans to invest? And of course, the highest investment was HR technology. And this has been the case year over year, especially after COVID, but continues to be the case. Okay. So there's some other studies, if you go to the next slide, Jason, that are coming out that are interesting. No, back. Too far. So what is interesting is, with all of this investment in technology and continued interest in investment technology, there seems to be a disconnect, and there's a few surveys that show this, between the HR technology and the goals that it's trying to achieve. So some of the goals are, we want more efficiency. We want to make our managers happier by taking work off their plate to make it easier. We want our employees happier. We want to have them be more efficient. And so what this survey shows, and so they interviewed, or they surveyed the C-suite. So those are the results in orange. And then they also surveyed middle management in this study. And they said, for the HR technology that you just invested in, how effective is it? And so they looked at different things. So was it effective in increasing efficiency and productivity? C-suite said, on the top right left corner, you can see 50% said, yes, it was. Middle management, 22% said it was. And you'll continue to see big gaps. Has it reduced costs? Big gap between CEO and middle management. Is it improving the employee experience? 45% of C-suite said yes, 23% said no. And then if you look on the bottom right corner, this was really kind of a fail in both arenas. So is it changing in behaviors in the workplace? 39% of C-suite said it is, so that's pretty low there, and significantly low for managers, only 13%. And again, you're probably saying, yeah, I'm not surprised. We know that it is very difficult when we bring new technology into a workplace, try to roll it out. It's difficult to get the staff, the managers, especially sometimes, to drink the Kool-Aid, right? That continues to always be a challenge, really, with any technology. So we're also seeing there's a disconnect between HR tech and employee satisfaction. So just another quick study that shows that that employees are basically more frustrated with HR technology than their managers and CEOs think. Okay, next slide. And then the last piece of this is showing that those HR managers who made the switch to a new technology are also typically not satisfied with their investment. So 30, and I thought this was pretty interesting. So 36% said they are likely to change technologies by the end of their HR technology subscription. 19% were unsure. So less than half are unlikely. They are willing to stay. So you're probably thinking, why are you telling me this, right? You sell HR technology too. Aren't you the ones out there telling us to buy this stuff? This is crazy, right? But what we're seeing in the market is we get, and so this really is talking about, this is the anecdotal evidence. This is what we're hearing. So forget about studies. Studies don't always tell the true story. And sometimes they're used to tell the stories that people want to hear or want to tell. What we're actually hearing consistently from prospective clients and our own clients, I'm going to cover on this slide. So for prospective clients, we get a lot of businesses that come to us that were in the category of the last slide. They've invested in HR technology from a national provider, and they are really frustrated with the lack of customer service. So they have gone through vetting processes, looked at multiple vendors, looked at the features and functionality they wanted, and chose the product based on what they need for their business. And they're frustrated because they aren't getting the implementation help that they need. They're not getting the support that they need for the product. And so, these are HR people that already have a lot on their plate, and they're finding it very difficult to roll out the features and functionality that they want. And also, they're not getting them configured or working the way that they want. So they come to us because we offer a much more hands-on service. We provide training for free, ongoing training. Our goal is to get our clients to use the product, to hold their hand if there's challenges, and make sure that that's successful. We actually had a client, a potential client a few weeks ago said, my HCM provider gave me a Ferrari without an owner's manual. So they were really just feeling like they weren't successful because they don't have the resources or the help from the provider to help that product be successful. We survey our own clients. We feel that we are excelling in that perspective. And if you aren't answering our surveys and you feel differently, by all means, please answer our NPS survey. Please reach out. But typically on our surveys that we send to you and we analyze the results, our clients are saying that we're doing a great job of customer service. What we're hearing from our own clients is just the frustrations that I opened this presentation with. They don't have time to learn the system. They would love to use more of our products. They would love to implement more of our products, but they don't have the time to teach the employees. They don't have time to field the questions. They don't have time to plan the project. The other thing that we're hearing a lot is that HR managers, HR folks, they get frustrated trying to be the middleman between us and their employees. So automation is great. And you'll see all these studies on automation and how it helps you become more efficient. And it does, and it improves processes, but there is handholding. So some of your job shifts from having employee turn in a piece of paper and keying it in to helping the employee with the software, answering questions, helping them through onboarding, helping them use some of the tools. And so HR managers are expected to be a little bit of a trainer and a system expert, and that may not be your wheelhouse or something that you want to do. And so what we're seeing with our own clients, and that's been frustrating for us, and we continue to try to push to find ways to educate our clients or help them, is that only 4% of our clients are using our full HCM package. So we meet constantly. What's the best way to educate clients? We send a lot of marketing, but we don't want to bombard you too much because we also don't want to be annoying and be sending you, constant sales information and pestering you. So, what's the right way to reach out? But we're also hearing that companies that they don't have the time. So that could be a big aspect of it as well. So what is our solution? We're constantly looking for ways to help our clients, and knowing what we know based on data and feedback for our clients, we thought there has to be a better way that we can help our clients, help HR. So if you could take away two things, and I'll get into more detail, but if you can take away two things about this service, our HR assistant service is a service that bridges the gap between HR leaders and employees by allowing us to work directly with your employees and help train and help facilitate and kind of be that middleman instead of you being that middleman. And then second, it's a service that allows us to take on more HR administrative items off of your plate. So here's a little more detail of some of the things that would be included in this service. And I will say, I'm sure Jason will say it, I know he'll say it again, that we do need to meet with you and we need to understand really what things could be helpful to you. But this is really what we're looking at and intending with this service. Number one, employee portal support, which we already talked about. So we will provide your employees with direct access to our people to support employee login questions, troubleshooting, system navigation, any of those questions related to the HR items that your employees and managers are doing within our system. We will help initiate and facilitate online new hire onboarding, so we can take that process off of your hands. We can assist managers and employees through that process. Employee online benefit enrollment and eligibility. We will help employees navigate online and benefit enrollment. We will monitor employee eligibility, let you know employees are eligible, make sure that we're shepherding them through the process. So instead of you herding the cats, we are the cat herders. I think I said that right, cat herders. We will provide employee training and adoption. We will provide, I guess a good way to think about it is you've got open enrollment every year. As a part of that process, you educate your employees. That would be your role on the new benefits that you're offering, but we would educate employees on how to use the system. And, if there's changes in the system to the enrollment process within the system, we would let them know about those changes and we would help them through the process. Initiate COBRA processing for clients that have COBRA admin. So we will help facilitate that. We will help facilitate any workflow requests. We will assist with managing and approving employee requested changes. Of course, only those. We would work with you to see only the items that you would want us to approve in that process. And then there would be items that only you would approve, obviously, in that process. And then lastly, just daily HR and benefit maintenance and input. I'm sure there's other things that you would want us to do within the system that maybe are unique to your business, and we could talk about those. So who is this for? Companies with high turnover. We see clients, particularly clients that have high turnover, really struggling with workload, especially clients that are growing and have high turnover. So we can help you take some of those administrative items off of your plate. Employee retirement. So maybe you have a person that handles some of these functions that's retiring. We can assist with that. Or maybe you have someone that's retiring that has really manual processes and you'd like to automate some of those processes and you would like us to help. So you could add on some of our services, but really we would be taking responsibility for the system maintenance and helping employees through that process rather than you having to project manage and handle that piece. Security concerns, this would be typically for smaller clients. So if there's a situation where there's an owner or an executive that is handling, this comes up with payroll, but can also come up with HR, handling some of those functions, and they really don't have anyone in-house to offload that to. That's something that we can help with, and the reason they don't have someone in-house is because maybe they don't really want anyone to have access to sensitive HR information. Companies that are understaffed in their HR department, and obviously employees wearing multiple hats. So let's cover the roles and responsibilities. So this is intended, and I really, really want to highlight this. You will see a lot of HR consulting services that is HR outsourcing, where you have an outsourced HR person, consultant. That is not what this is intended to be. This is strictly administrative outsourcing. from an HR and benefits standpoint. It's all those things I covered: data input, making changes in the system, dealing with employees, system monitoring. Your role will continue to be answering policy questions, making policy changes, being the point of contact between your broker or brokers, making decisions on those plans for employee benefits, communicating to employees what the benefit changes are and what those plans will be, bill payment with those vendors, reconciliation of bills with those vendors, HR compliance in general, and really just being the final approver and reviewer of key HR system changes that really need to stay with you. So we're looking to be an accessory, not an HR manager. We're really just looking to offload HR administrative items. All right, I'm going to kick it over to Jason just to explain now the different services that we offer in different levels.
Thank you. So when we're looking at our 3 tiers here, our core support services is what everybody has when they partner with us. They have that dedicated support rep, the wage garnishment, tax filing, all those things that you talked about with the sales team and you signed up with and that we're supporting now. We added the payroll assistant, officially rolled it out a few months ago, and a lot of you were on that webinar where we're assisting with a lot of the administrative work that goes along with payroll to free you up to do some other things. And we had some great success with that. Probably as good as it could have possibly went. Our clients are responding to that. They love it. The fact that they can get to a lot of the other things that they just wanted to get to that were maybe more important, but you got to get your employees paid. So that was the second tier. And now the third tier is similar, but from an HR perspective. So the HR assistant, we're going to offer the HR support to you, all the products that we talked about. And the reason that these have been successful is because we are meeting with you. We are having that scope of work call to decide, hey, here's what we need from you. Here's what you're still going to have to handle. And so once we have those meetings, we can really put together a great plan. And again, these slides will be available to you here. All right, so pricing. Pricing is going to be based on that initial scope of work. We're going to get together with you, decide, hey, here's what we want to do. Here's what we need. Can you help us with that? And, we'll go through a whole list of items to make sure that everybody knows what they're responsible for. We do the same thing with managed payroll. So if you're still on the fence with managed payroll or want more information about that, we can have that same call. We'll develop the pricing based on that, on the individual needs. And then potential higher costs will be for clients that have significant turnover. Obviously, the more administrative work that needs to be done with higher turnover would initiate a higher cost. But again, we'll go through all of those things and then provide you a quote of the services for that. I'm going to keep my contact information up here on the screen for you as we sign off, just so you can copy that down if you don't already have it. Bridget, thank you for going through those slides. This is just another example of how we want to be an irreplaceable partner for you and making sure that we are doing above and beyond what the other companies are doing, making sure that you're able to implement the things that are available to you. So we thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.